Have you ever sent a text or an email and didn't get a response back as soon as you thought you should? What about your dream job opportunity? You applied for it and you didn't get it. Or how about a romantic interest that you were really into, but somehow it seemed like they were no longer interested in you? All of those situations are examples of opportunities for us to take things personally. But what if there's another way to look at the situation? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Yvette and I am a certified social and emotional intelligence coach. And on this channel, we talk all things emotional intelligence. And today we are talking about how to stop taking things personally. Taking things personally isn't the problem. It's an opportunity to develop your emotional intelligence. And I want to explain to you how. First of all, let's talk about what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is one's ability to be aware of their own emotions and the emotions of others, and to use that information to manage themselves and their relationships. Simple, right? Except it's not. The thing is that emotional intelligence is what I like to call a difference maker. It is an opportunity for you to 10x your life. It is an opportunity for you to 180 your life. Wherever you are today, you could really make a significant change in your life by developing your emotional intelligence. Most people don't wake up every morning thinking, I really want to become more emotionally intelligent. Instead, people think of the outcomes that they want. Think about better relationships. Think about a more fulfilling life, an intentional life, a better relationship with self, just a really purposeful, meaningful, successful, the way you define it, life. I'm not trying to sell you on emotional intelligence. It speaks for itself. But I think a lot of the times people do not truly recognize the power of developing your emotional intelligence. The great news is that it's a skill. And today we are going to develop a skill in how to stop taking things personally. It's so easy to do it. But with emotional intelligence, you can combat it. Emotional intelligence has a 4-quadrant model: self-awareness, self-management, also known as self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. And these 4 quadrants will help you to stop taking things personally. The first thing I want to do when I talk about each quadrant is I want you to think of a question that you can ask yourself when we cover this particular quadrant. So for self-awareness, the question that we are going to ask ourselves in the future when we find ourselves taking things personally is, what story am I telling myself? What story am I telling myself? So in the self-awareness quadrant, we need to be aware of the story that we're telling ourselves. And oftentimes it's the story that the other person told us. It's the rejection letter that we received, lack of request for a second or a third date. And so when those things happen, we tell ourselves a story. And when that story is created, it kind of loops in our head over and over again. First, we need to recognize that that is actually happening. So that's where self-awareness comes in. We want to separate the facts from assumptions. So making assumptions about situations instead of looking at the facts. Instead of it being that I'm undesirable, it could be that you and the other person was just not a good fit. And maybe you knew that, but you didn't want to acknowledge that, right? Separating the facts from assumptions, not going to the worst case scenario. And listening to the stories that we tell ourselves, that internal dialogue. So the next time you have a negative story that's playing in your head, you can do something differently about it, but you can't do anything about what you're not aware of. So you also have to validate yourself, right? Self-love. Okay. Everyone knows we should do that. Sometimes it's hard to. The world will try to beat you up, but it's okay. Post it, a really nice photo of yourself, some kind words from someone, put it in a place where you can see it. And every time you are taking something personal that someone else said, you need to be validated. It could be an audio file. It could be, again, some kind of visual cue, but something that reminds you of who you are. You are more than enough. And I'm not trying to be preachy, but my point to you is that we have to validate ourselves, and we have to combat this story that the world will try to tell us about ourselves. And so self-awareness is being aware of that story and recognizing that self-love is going to help us to mitigate some of the negativity in the world. Stay with me here. So we move from self-awareness, being aware of the stories that we tell ourselves, recognizing that we have an opportunity to change the story, right? So I gave some examples of this in self-awareness, but in self-regulation, self-management, that's when it really kind of like shows itself. You are going to change the script. That story I said that's looping in your head, you're going to give it a new story. You already have your self-love in the self-awareness category to help you to combat all the negativity that people try to offer to you. But in self-management, it's really about taking things to the next level. And so the question that we're going to ask ourselves here is, how do I want to respond? Okay, so someone said something to me, I am taking this personally, I'm offended by it. I have a choice to make every single time. How am I going to respond? First, I want to quiet that negative self-talk, right? So we talked about the self-love that we need, the self-validation that we have to offer to ourselves, how we can take from self-awareness the stories that we're telling to ourselves and change the script, change the narrative, right, to something positive. We want to also regulate our uncomfortable emotions. So when you think about taking something personally, often you feel defensive, offended, sad, hurt, embarrassed, things of that sort, those types of emotions. How do you regulate those emotions? By recognizing that there are still possibilities, there's still hope, you still have lots of potential. And also, just to be honest, this is one person's opinion, okay? And so take it for what it is. It's an opinion, it's a perspective, it's their lens of the world, it's how they see you. And it doesn't mean that it is universally true. Regulating those uncomfortable emotions comes from a place of putting things into perspective. This is not an all or nothing. You're not a horrible person. They may just have a perspective about you, and you get to choose what you're going to do with it. Remember, the question for self-management, self-regulation is, how do I want to respond? If you look back at how you responded in the past, is it really serving you for the future? Something to consider. So the next one that we want to look at is social awareness. This one's really fun because it really helps you to level set your own expectations. So social awareness takes us outside of ourselves and into the world. It's the external component of emotional intelligence. The question that we ask here is, what else could be true? I love this one because it really starts to invite curiosity. Other people have their own stresses, their own fears, their own insecurities and experiences. And as such, they often project them off on other people. Let's not make assumptions that they're always projecting, but also let's recognize that they could be projecting. So with that being said, don't automatically take their behavior for facts. Oftentimes, whatever someone is offering to you is a reflection, a direct reflection of what is happening in their world. And so with that being said, we want to have that perspective, right? Recognizing that people have lots of experiences in one day and in a lifetime, and sometimes their experiences are coloring how they see us. We can't do anything about that, but we can have that perspective. The question here, what else could be true? So, am I really a mean, harsh person? Or are they having a difficult time with someone being direct with them right now? Are they dealing with a situation that could influence how they're experiencing me? Almost always. We can't do anything about them. This quadrant is all about perspective, right? Helping you to have perspective on the experiences that people are having in the world and how oftentimes it has nothing to do with us. We're just on the receiving end of whatever they have going on. Another opportunity here, in all fairness, is that they could be telling you something that could help you to grow. And so in social awareness, you have an opportunity to reflect and think about if what they're sharing is actually feedback. Have you heard this before? Is this a pattern? Is this something that you can learn from? If yes, grow. If no, let it go. And so I'm going to say that again. If yes, there's an opportunity to grow. If no, you can let it go. This gives you an opportunity to not have to be at the mercy of everything that someone shares with you. Take it for what it is, a perspective. Everybody has one. Finally, relationship management. This one is an interesting quadrant because this gives you an opportunity to think about dialogue. What conversation do I need to have? What do I need to discuss with this person about this particular situation? This allows for you to seek understanding. Again, we want to stay away from assumptions, more curiosity here, but directly with that person. Clarifying instead of withdrawing, building conversations, not conclusions. So if you think about taking things personally, often we shut down or we just walk away. Stonewalling, getting defensive or deflecting, talking about some of their shortcomings, and instead we want to nurture the relationship. So how can you do that? You can ask questions. Can you help me to understand? What did you mean by that? Can we talk about this further? It allows an opportunity for dialogue. And so instead of kind of going into a shell, you have an opportunity to stay open to the possibilities of understanding, clarity, or even an apology. All of these are really good strategies to help you to stop taking things personally. Remember, emotional intelligence is a difference maker. If you work on developing these skills, not only will you achieve what you desired, which is to stop taking things personally, but they kind of spill over into all the areas of your life, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, how you show up professionally, and your fulfillment in life in general. Emotional intelligence is a difference maker. On this channel, we always offer a challenge. So in the next 3 days, I would love to invite you, try to practice some of the strategies that we mentioned in each of the quadrants to give you an opportunity to develop your skill of emotional intelligence, but more specifically, to stop taking things personally. If you found this video to be valuable, I would love for you to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. And remember, life does not have to happen to us. We can happen to life. Take care.